Imagine stepping onto a shore where the very ground beneath your feet tells a story of planetary violence. A beach that feels less like a vacation postcard and more like a forgotten corner of another world. This isn't the golden, sun-bleached sand of your typical tropical getaway. This is something far more primal, mysterious, and mesmerizing. We're talking about a beach with smooth, black volcanic sand, a landscape born not from the gentle erosion of limestone and shells, but from the explosive, earth-shattering fury of a volcano. Picture it. The waves crash not onto a bright, reflective expanse, but onto a deep, velvety black canvas that seems to swallow the light, creating a stark, breathtaking contrast with the azure blue of the ocean and the vibrant green of the surrounding cliffs. The first time you see it, it feels surreal, almost wrong, as if nature has inverted its own color palette. But then you take that first step, and the sensation is utterly transformative. That fine, granulated black sand, cooled from its once molten state over centuries, cushions your feet with a unique, silky texture that feels cooler, denser, and smoother than any white sand you've ever encountered. This isn't just a beach, it's a geological artifact, a direct line to the inner workings of our planet. Every single grain is a testament to a monumental event, a lava flow reaching the sea, shattering into billions of fragments upon contact with the cold water, then being pounded and polished by the relentless tides for millennia until it becomes this soft, glittering expanse. The existence of such a place challenges our very notion of what a beach should be. It speaks of creation and destruction happening in the same breath, of islands being born from the seafloor in plumes of superheated rock and steam. To stand on a black sand beach is to stand at the confluence of the planet's most powerful elements, earth, fire, and water. The air often carries a different scent here, a faint mineral tang mixed with the salt spray, a reminder of the volcanic activity that may still simmer nearby. The soundscape is the same eternal roar of the surf, but it feels amplified, more profound against the dark, absorbing shore. As you walk, your footprints create temporary, deep impressions in the jet black surface, a fleeting human mark on an ancient geological canvas. You might bend down and let the sand run through your fingers, noticing how it catches the light, not in a uniform beige, but in a spectrum of dark hues, deep gunmetal grays, hints of olive green from the mineral olivine, and sparkling flecks of basalt that give the entire beach a subtle, cosmic glare, as if someone has sprinkled stardust across the shore. This unique composition means the beach behaves differently under the sun. It absorbs heat more efficiently, often making the surface warmer to the touch on a sunny day, yet it never achieves the blinding, reflective glare of its white sand counterparts. Instead, it creates a moody, dramatic atmosphere where the play of light and shadow is constant and mesmerizing. Clouds rolling overhead cast swift, dramatic shadows, and sunsets here are not just colorful. They are theatrical performances, with the black sand acting as the perfect stage, reflecting the fiery oranges and purples of the sky in a way that makes the entire world seem awash in color. But the magic isn't just in the aesthetics. This environment fosters a unique ecosystem. The dark sand heats the nests of certain sea turtles more effectively, influencing the gender of their hatchlings in a delicate balance shaped by this unusual ground. The tidal pools that form in rocky outcrops along such shores are often richer in certain minerals, hosting specialized communities of algae and small marine creatures adapted to these distinct conditions. To understand a black sand beach is to embark on a journey through time, chemistry, and physics. It's a lesson in density and erosion, in the slow but unstoppable forces that shape our coastlines. It reminds us that the earth is alive, restless, and constantly remaking itself, and that sometimes its most beautiful creations arise from its most violent processes. This is not merely a scenic spot. It is a destination that engages the mind as much as the senses, a place where you can literally hold a piece of planetary history in the palm of your hand. So, the next time you dream of a beach, look beyond the conventional. Seek out the shadowy, glittering shores, where the story is written not in coral and shells, but in cooled lava and ancient fire. The experience will redefine your connection to the natural world, leaving you with a sense of awe that lingers long after the black sand has been washed from your shoes. The formation of a black sand beach is an epic saga, a multi-chapter story of destruction and creation that plays out over hundreds or even thousands of years. And it all begins deep beneath the Earth's crust. Our planet's surface is a puzzle of tectonic plates, and at their boundaries, particularly where one plate is forced beneath another, in a process called subduction, conditions become perfect for volcanic activity. As the oceanic plate descends into the searing heat of the mantle, it melts, generating magma that is less dense than the surrounding rock. This magma begins its arduous ascent, gathering in vast subterranean chambers, building immense pressure as more molten material and gases like water vapor and carbon dioxide join the mix. Eventually, the pressure becomes too great and the Earth finds a weakness, a fissure, or vent through which this pent-up energy can escape. What happens next defines the character of the future beach. If the magma is low in silica, it is relatively fluid, allowing gases to escape easily. This often results in gentler, effusive eruptions where rivers of molten rock, called lava, flow steadily across the landscape. These lava rivers, glowing at temperature exceeding 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit, follow the contours of the land with a relentless, slow-moving determination, eventually reaching the coastline. The moment that incandescent stream of liquid rock meets the cool ocean is one of the most dramatic interactions on Earth. The contact is violent and instantaneous. The water flash boils into massive plumes of superheated steam, and the rapid, extreme thermal shock causes the lava to fracture and explode into countless fragments. This process, known as quench fragmentation, is the birth of the black sand. The lava shatters into pieces ranging from fine ash to pebble-sized debris, primarily composed of dark, mafic minerals like basalt, which is rich in iron and magnesium. These jagged, newborn particles are then at the mercy of the ocean's power. They are swept by currents, tumbled in the surf zone, and relentlessly ground against each other and the rocky seabed. This is nature's polishing workshop. Over decades and centuries, the sharp, angular edges are slowly worn away. The fragments are rounded, smoothed, and reduced in size by the constant abrasive action of the waves. The mechanical grinding is only part of the story. Chemical weathering also plays a role as seawater slowly alters some minerals. The result of this endless processing is that silky, smooth, black sand we find on the beach. It's a continual cycle. New volcanic activity can add fresh, coarse material, while storms and waves redistribute and further refine the existing sand. Some of the most famous black sand beaches, like Punaluu in Hawaii or Reynisfjara in Iceland, sit directly at the feet of active or recently active volcanoes, serving as direct feeders for this remarkable process. But the journey of the sand doesn't end at the shoreline. Longshore currents, the rivers within the ocean that flow parallel to the coast, act as conveyor belts, transporting this black sand along the shoreline, sometimes depositing it in coves and bays where it accumulates to form those stunning, expansive beaches. The color itself, that profound black, is a direct result of its mineral composition. The dominant basalt is dark because it contains a high percentage of dark-colored minerals like pyroxene and magnetite, which absorb most wavelengths of visible light rather than reflecting them. However, look closely, and you'll see it's not a monotone black. You might find grains with a rusty red hue, indicating oxidation of the iron within, or sparkling green crystals of olivine, often called Hawaiian diamond, which are heavier and can sometimes concentrate in certain areas, creating beautiful green streaks in the sand. The presence of magnetite, an iron oxide mineral that is naturally magnetic, means you can sometimes run a magnet through the sand and pick up a delicate fuzz of black particles, a literal hands-on demonstration of the beach's volcanic iron heart. This formation process has profound implications. It means black sand beaches are often younger in geological terms than quartz-based white sand beaches. They are dynamic, changing landscapes directly tied to the pulse of the volcano that created them. A significant new eruption or lava flow can alter the coastline overnight, adding new land or radically reshaping the beach's profile. This ever-present potential for change adds a layer of raw, untamed energy to these places. You are walking on a landscape that is, in the grand timeline of the Earth, freshly made. You are witnessing a snapshot in an ongoing story of terrestrial renewal, a reminder that the ground we often think of as so permanent is, in these locations, still being written. While the sight of a black sand beach is unforgettable, the experience of being on one engages all your senses in a way that is distinctly different from any other coastline. Let's start with the most immediate interaction, the feel of the sand beneath your feet. As you step onto it, the first thing you notice is the texture. Volcanic sand, due to its density and the way it's eroded, often has grains that are finer and more uniformly shaped than typical silica sand. This creates a sensation that is incredibly soft and smooth, almost like walking on powdered silk or very fine, cool flour. It molds perfectly to the shape of your foot, providing a surprisingly supportive and cushioning feel. Because the dark grains absorb solar radiation more efficiently, the surface layer can become quite warm under a strong sun, sometimes even hot to the touch, but dig just a little beneath and you'll find cooler, damp sand, a refreshing contrast. Walking barefoot here is a pleasure, but it also comes with a unique caution. On a very sunny day, the dark surface can heat up significantly, so timing your visit for cooler parts of the day is often wise. Then there's the sound. The acoustics on a black sand beach are subtly altered. The dense, heavy grains don't crunch or squeak like dry white sand might. Instead, your footsteps are quieter, more of a soft compression. The sound of the waves, however, feels amplified. With less light being reflected upward, the visual focus is drawn intensely to the waterline, making the roar and crash of the surf seem even more powerful and immersive against the dark, sound-absorbing backdrop. It's a deeper, more resonant soundtrack to your visit. Visually, the experience is one of supreme contrast and ever-changing light. On a bright, clear day, the black sand creates a dramatic foil for everything around it. The turquoise of the water appears impossibly vivid. The white foam of the breaking waves looks almost electric. And any colorful item, a bright towel, a red swimsuit, pops with surreal intensity. The sand itself is rarely just flat black under the sun. It reveals a galaxy of tiny sparkles from crystalline structures within the basalt, and it can show undertones of gray, brown, or green. But it's during the golden hours of sunrise and sunset that a black sand beach truly performs magic. As the sun dips toward the horizon, its low-angle light paints the sky in fiery hues, and that light is reflected not on a bright, competing surface, but on this perfect, dark canvas. The entire beach can glow with borrowed color, the wet sand near the tide line mirroring the oranges, pinks, and purples of the sky, creating a double panorama of breathtaking beauty. It's a photographer's paradise, where every moment offers a new composition of light, shadow, and reflection. The water temperature and behavior can also be distinct. In some volcanic areas, particularly where the underground geothermal activity is high, you might find spots where hot springs seep into the ocean, creating warm pockets of water amidst the cool sea and natural jacuzzi effect. However, it's crucial to be aware that the geology that creates these beaches often leads to steep underwater drop-offs and powerful, unpredictable rip currents. The same forces that shatter lava into sand can create rugged, uneven seabeds. Waves can behave differently, sometimes surging with extra force, and backwash can be strong. This demands a higher level of respect and caution from swimmers and waders. These are often beaches for admiration and paddling, rather than for reckless swimming. The ecosystem you encounter is adapted to this unique environment. You might see different types of shorebirds, and the tidal pools in the volcanic rock are microcosms of resilient life, hosting anemones, crabs, and algae that can tolerate the mineral-rich water. In places like Hawaii, the black sand is the nesting ground for endangered hawksbill and green sea turtles. The dark sand absorbs solar heat, warming the nests and influencing the incubation temperature, which in turn determines the sex of the hatchlings, a delicate balance entirely dependent on the sand's unique properties. To simply sit on such a beach is to engage in a form of meditation. You are surrounded by a landscape that speaks of elemental power, the cool, heavy sand in your hands, the roar of the ocean, the dramatic visuals all combine to create a profound sense of being somewhere ancient and potent. It's an experience that is simultaneously grounding and awe-inspiring, a place where you can feel truly connected to the dynamic, creative, and sometimes destructive heart of our living planet. Black sand beaches are scattered across the globe, but they are not randomly distributed. They are precise geological markers, pinpointing areas of present or past volcanic activity along tectonic plate boundaries. One of the most iconic regions for these ebony shores is the Hawaiian Islands, a chain born directly from a volcanic hotspot in the middle of the Pacific Plate. Here, beaches like Punalugyu on the Big Island are legendary. Punalugyu is not just a beach, it's an ecosystem and a cultural touchstone. Its jet black sand, backed by lush palm trees, is frequently visited by the native green sea turtles, or honu, which bask on the warm sand, offering visitors a magical glimpse of these revered creatures. The sand here comes directly from the lava flows of the nearby active volcanoes, Mauna Loa and Kilauea. Just a short distance away, Papakolea Beach, often called Green Sand Beach, takes the concept further. With sand composed primarily of the olive green mineral olivine, creating one of only a few such beaches in the world. Crossing the globe to the North Atlantic, Iceland, aptly nicknamed the Land of Fire and Ice, is a treasure trove of volcanic landscapes, including spectacular black sand beaches. The most famous is Reynisfjara, near the village of Vik. This beach is the epitome of dramatic, almost mythic scenery. The fine black sand is overshadowed by towering basalt sea stacks that rise from the ocean, like the petrified columns of a giant's palace, and a vast cave of naturally formed basalt columns. The waves here are famously powerful and unpredictable, and the atmosphere is hauntingly beautiful, often shrouded in mist, making it feel like a location from a Viking saga. But Iceland doesn't stop there. Destinations like Jubilansandur on the Snæfellsnes Peninsula offer a more secluded, rocky black pebble beach littered with the rusted remains of a shipwreck, adding a layer of human history to the geological drama. The Mediterranean also hosts its own examples, such as the black sand beaches of Santorini and parts of the Canary Islands, like Tenerife. Santorini's beaches, like Parissa and Kamari, are a direct result of the island's cataclysmic volcanic eruption over 3,600 years ago. Here, the black sand is often mixed with larger pebbles, and is set against the striking backdrop of the island's whitewashed buildings and deep blue domes, creating a quintessential Greek postcard with a dark twist. Venturing to the South Pacific, New Zealand, sitting on the volatile Pacific Ring of Fire, boasts stunning black sand beaches on its North Island. Piha Beach, near Auckland, is a surfer's paradise, known for its ferocious waves and the iconic Lion Rock, a volcanic remnant that divides the beach. The sand here is iron-rich, giving it a particularly deep, magnetic black color. Further south, on the west coast of the South Island, places like Gillespie's Beach near Fox Glacier offer a different vibe, where the black sand meets the rainforest and the vista of snow-capped mountains, encapsulating an incredible diversity of landscapes in one frame. Even remote locations like the Solomon Islands or parts of Costa Rica, such as Playa Negra, offer these unique shores. Each of these beaches, while united by their dark sand, has its own personality, shaped by local climate, vegetation, and cultural context. Visiting them requires a mindset of respect and preservation. Unlike standard sand, which is continually replenished by eroding rocks, black sand at a particular beach can be a finite resource if the volcanic source is dormant. It's crucial to remember that taking sand as a souvenir is not only often illegal, but also detrimental to the fragile beach ecosystem. The same goes for disturbing wildlife, especially nesting turtles. Furthermore, the very geology that creates these beaches can make them more hazardous. The steep shelving and strong currents at places like Renisvara have claimed lives, reminding us that we are guests in a powerful and untamed environment. Responsible visitation means staying on marked paths, heeding all warning signs, keeping a safe distance from the waterline, especially when waves are large, and never turning your back on the ocean. By approaching these natural wonders with awe and caution, we ensure they remain pristine and powerful for generations to come. They are not just tourist attractions, they are active geological classrooms, vital habitats, and sacred spaces in many indigenous cultures, representing the enduring creative force of the earth goddesses like Pele in Hawaii. To visit is to participate in a story much larger than ourselves. So what is the enduring allure of these shadowy shores? Why do they captivate us so deeply, often leaving a more lasting impression than any picture-perfect white sand bay? The answer lies in the powerful intersection of beauty, science, and primal symbolism they represent. A black sand beach is a masterpiece of contrast, and the human brain is wired to find compelling narratives in juxtaposition. The dark earth meeting the bright sea, the destructive origin resulting in serene beauty, the ancient geological process witnessed in the present moment. These contrasts create a rich, multi-layered experience that engages us on an intellectual level as much as an aesthetic one. It's a landscape that tells a clear, dramatic story, and we are naturally drawn to stories, especially ones written in the very ground we walk on. They satisfy a deep curiosity about our planet's origins and its inner workings. Furthermore, these beaches connect us to the sublime, that feeling of awe mixed with a touch of fear when confronted with the vast, powerful forces of nature. Standing before the roaring ocean on a jet black shore, with the knowledge that the ground itself was forged in a volcano's furnace, evokes a humbling sense of our own smallness in the face of planetary time and power. This isn't a gentle, domesticated nature, it's nature in its raw, creative, and untamed form. This encounter with the sublime can be profoundly moving, even therapeutic, putting our daily concerns into a much broader perspective. They also serve as stunning visual metaphors. They are a reminder that beauty can emerge from adversity, that destruction can be a prelude to creation, and that endings are often new beginnings. The lava that destroys forests and alters landscapes cools and breaks down to create a beach of stunning, unique beauty that supports new forms of life. This resonant symbolism is why these locations frequently appear in art, literature, and film as backdrops for transformation, mystery, or epic fantasy. For the traveler seeking out a black sand beach is an act of moving beyond the checklist of conventional tourism. It's a commitment to seeing the diverse, unexpected, and awe-inspiring faces of our world. It's about choosing a destination that offers not just relaxation, but revelation. The memory of feeling that cool, silken sand, of watching a sunset ignite the sky above that dark mirror, of seeing a sea turtle find refuge on a shore of volcanic stone. These are memories that stick, that change how you see the natural world. They expand your understanding of what is possible on our planet. In a world where so much feels discovered and mapped, a black sand beach still feels like a discovery, a secret the earth is sharing with those willing to venture off the beaten path. It challenges the homogenized image of paradise and replaces it with something more authentic, more geologically literate, and infinitely more dramatic. It's an invitation to become a more mindful and knowledgeable observer, to ask questions about how the landscape came to be, and to feel a tangible link to the tectonic forces that shape continents. That is the true gift of these extraordinary places. They make the immense slow-motion drama of plate tectonics immediate, tactile, and beautiful here, are a direct interface with the planet's living heart. And as our understanding of geology and our appreciation for unique ecosystems grow, these beaches will only become more precious, not just as scenic wonders, but as vital natural archives and sanctuaries. They teach us about resilience, adaptation, and the endless cycle of renewal that defines Earth. So, let them call to you. Let the image of that smooth, black volcanic sand be a siren song towards adventure, towards learning, and towards a deeper, more awe-filled relationship with this incredible world we inhabit. If this journey to the world's most dramatic shores captivated you, then you absolutely cannot stop here. The planet is filled with even more unbelievable geological wonders, from blood-red waterfalls in Antarctica to caves full of glowing worms in New Zealand. Your sense of awe is the most powerful tool you have for exploration. So I want you to do 3 things right now. First, smash the like button. It tells the YouTube algorithm that you crave deep, original content like this, and it helps this channel grow. Second, subscribe and hit the notification bell, because next week we're diving into something even more mind-bending. We'll explore a lake that turns animals into stone and the terrifyingly beautiful science behind it. You won't want to miss it. And third, the most important step, share this video with one person. Share it with that friend who loves adventure, that family member who geeks out over science, or anyone who needs a reminder of how spectacularly strange and wonderful our world is. Your share is what builds this community of curious explorers. Now, tell me in the comments below, if you could visit any black sand beach in the world after watching this, which one would it be and why? Is it the turtle-filled shores of Hawaii, the epic columns of Iceland, or a hidden gem you've heard about? Let's get a conversation started. Your next adventure is just a click away. Thanks for watching, and remember, stay curious.